Hello everyone. In this video, I'll explain the recently released feature of Azure Load Balancer, which is admin state. It's in public preview, and in this video, I'll cover what is admin state and how do you control the backend instances using the admin state. So let's start with what is admin state. So admin state is a feature of the Azure Load Balancer where you can override the health probe behavior. Now to explain in the simple terms, health probe works on the health checks which are deployed in Azure Load Balancer. Take an example, there are two web servers which are in the backend pool of Azure Load Balancer. And Load Balancer is balancing the traffic on both of these servers. But suddenly the health checks of the health probe has failed for one server. Then automatically Load Balancer will stop sending the data towards the faulty server and all the data will be redirected towards the healthy server. But the problem with this approach is, in case of patching or upgrade of the backend servers, we need to either disable the health probe or remove the servers from the backend pool. And this was an overhead task because the health probe checks the server based on the interval which is set up. So in case we brought the server down and the health probe took around 30 seconds to show the unhealthy status, so for that 30 seconds we may lose data. So now Microsoft has released the admin state feature where we can change the admin state of the backend instances and the load balancer behavior will change based on that. So there are three options what we can set for each backend instance: up, down, and none. So by default it's none, and if the server is healthy, then the traffic will be redirected towards it. And the another state is down, which means now Azure Load Balancer will not follow the health probes. And whether the backend instance is healthy or not, the new connections or the new traffic will not be sent towards that backend instance. So once you will set the admin state for the backend instance to down, then you can do the patching or upgrade of the server without even worrying about the loss of data. And the last state is up, where new and existing connections are always allowed on the backend instances. Sometimes you are making changes in the health probe, or this is a mistake by the health probe that it's showing the backend instance is faulty. However, they are not, they are working fine. So in that case, you can override the setting and the load balancer will keep sending the data towards the backend instance which is showing unhealthy in the health probes. So in short, admin state is a maintenance state where you can manage the traffic redirection to the backend instances without even worrying about the health checks. So let me show you step-by-step configuration of the admin state in Azure Load Balancer in the lab. I'm logged into Azure portal now, and I'll start with the creation of a load balancer where we'll add two web servers in the backend. I've already created those two web servers. So if I'll go to the resource group, RG Load Balancer, this is the resource group I have created, and there are two servers in it: App VM1, App VM2. So these are Windows 2022 data center servers, and IIS is running on them, and they just show the name of their servers when the IP address of these servers are provided in the URL. I can't do it from my browser because these are the private servers, so they don't have a public IP address. I'll create the load balancer first, add these two servers in the backend pool, create the health checks because admin state will only work if the health checks are in place, and then finally create the load balancing rule and see if our load balancer is working fine. Once everything is set up, then I'll show the admin state and how to make changes in there. So let's start with the creation of load balancer. Go to load balancer, create a new load balancer. I'll use the existing load balancer group. Name is test load balancer 01. Australia is standard load balancer, and the type will be public and tier will be regional. So let's create a front-end IP address. This will be a public IP, front-end IP 01. IPv4, this will be an IP address, and let's create a new public IP address. Load balancer public IP 01, zone redundant, and the routing preference will be Microsoft Network. Save it. And we are not creating a gateway load balancer, it's just a standard load balancer. So we'll leave it as none and save. Now this public IP will be created. Then the backend pool. Let's create a new backend pool. Backend 01. Select the virtual network. There is only one virtual network. Now add the backend servers. These are the two servers which are configured in this virtual network. So let's select both the servers, add, and save. Now the backend pool is also configured. The limitation with the admin state is that you cannot configure the admin state during the creation of the backend pool or during the addition of the servers in the backend pool. Now let's create an inbound rule or a load balancing rule. Rule 01. So the traffic which comes to the front-end IP of the load balancer should go to the backend pool on port 8080, and the backend port will be 80. Let's create a new health probe because this is the requirement for using the admin state. Health 01, and let's select the protocol HTTP, and it checks on path slash, and it should be available because we have already configured the web server. Save. Rest everything is default. We are not changing any session persistence or ideal timeout. So let's save. There is no need of the outbound rule. So let's review and create. Now the load balancer is getting deployed, and I'll pause the video and we'll be back once it's deployed. Load balancer is deployed now. Let's go to the resource. So if we'll quickly check, front-end IP address is the public IP address. There is a single backend pool with two web servers in it, app VM1, app VM2. Then the health probes. There is one health probe which is created for protocol HTTP and port 80 on the path route. Load balancing rule is very simple. The traffic when hits on the front-end IP of the load balancer on port 8080, it should go to the backend pool on the port 80. And it should follow the health probe here. So the load balancer is configured. Let's copy the public IP and see if it's working or not. 8080 and perfect. So traffic is now redirected to VM2. Let's open a new Cognito window and try again. Now it's redirecting towards VM1. So that means our load balancer is working perfectly where the traffic is going on VM1 and VM2. Now let's go back to our load balancer and go to the backend pool. And in the backend pool, you can see in the end there is an admin state, which is right now set it up as none. And I've just shown that both these servers are healthy and the load balancer is redirecting the traffic towards them. So let's change the admin state for app VM1. So as I've mentioned, none means if the health probe is showing the state of the backend server as healthy, then it will redirect the traffic, otherwise not. In the case of up, it doesn't matter whether the server is healthy or not, but the traffic will be redirected towards the server. And in the case of the down, health probe state will be ignored and the traffic will be stopped towards that backend instance. So let's select down and save. So that means now the traffic should not go to app VM01. So let's check. Copy this, open new window, app VM2. Let's open another one. And it's keep on showing the app VM2 only, not app VM1. So that means load balancer is not redirecting the traffic towards the app VM1. So the admin state which we have set up is working perfectly. So let's change it back to none, save, and let's see if now the traffic is redirecting towards both the servers or not. Use the URL, open a new window, and perfect, app VM1. And now it's redirecting the traffic towards both the servers. So this is how you can set up the admin state. But I think I forgot a very important step here. So by default, when you will go and try to change the admin state, so it will throw an error in your subscription. The reason is because it's in preview and you have to enable the admin state change option in your subscription. because I tested this before creating the videos, so I have got it enabled. But let me show you how you do it. Open a new tab. So instead of portal.azure.com, use preview.portal.azure.com. Sign into your subscription. I have already signed in because I have made these changes. Then go to subscriptions. Select your subscription. And in the settings, go to preview features. Preview features. And there are a lot of preview features which are not registered in my subscription. So let's focus on the one which we want to enable, which is admin state. So allow admin state for Azure Load Balancer. It's registered for me, but it will not be for you. So what you have to do is select this one and register it. And once this is done, you can close this window and go back to your portal.azure.com, the default portal. And then you can change the admin state in your Azure Load Balancer. So to summarize this video, first I explained what is admin state, what are the different options, how can we set up the admin state, and what are the prerequisites. So that's all for this video. I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much.